friends, to another edition of Smarknado. I'm your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the Danaconda, Dan Sasnet. Dan, how you doing today, man?
Very good. Actually, I'm having quite the day. I had a long weekend. We had friends over for the holiday weekend and whatnot, but I'm winding down now. I was still able to get my wrestling in, so
Yeah.
uh, that's what we're here for.
What a fun week to be a wrestling fan, I gotta say.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
just like, let's stop having any sort of tribalist thoughts. I know that doesn't really apply to you or I, but it does apply to a lot of wrestling fans. And just sit back and realize that we are living in such a fun time to be a wrestling fan right now. Case in point, what happened on NXT. AEW has been on fire as far as I'm concerned. Off the pay-per-view. Just a lot of really good stuff that's happening, and I don't have room for negativity when it comes to wrestling.
There's nitpicking that I could do that we would always be able to do because that's
and we
just
will have some nitpicks today. But overall, it's just great.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of good things happening. I think we're finally in the era where we're going to see more back and forth between AEW and WWE as far as talent is concerned.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ever going to stop being at least a little bit exciting because I think that AEW is ultimately going to last longer than WCW. I do.
I think they're already. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, they're definitely going to outlast WCW because I think people have. Well, I think WCW was what 11 years, like 1990. It started
something to that effect. I didn't remember right off the top of my head, so that's why I didn't want to say it. But I think you might be right. In the 90 to 2001. So 11 years. And AEW just hit 5, and I don't see 6 year. I see at least another 6 years, depending on what happens between TV rights and whatnot.
I agree too, and I think they're in a much better financial situation than WCW ever was. I think that people, like we've said on this show before, people that jump to this very, very short-sighted conclusion that AEW is in the same shape that WCW was in 2000. I question if a lot of those people were watching at the time, but also like it is not the same. It's not even the same atmosphere. Like you may not like something that happened on the show, but it's not like the entire show is a piece of shit like it was.
They absolutely weren't watching.
Yeah.
They weren't watching. They weren't watching now, and they weren't watching then either. Right. You know what I mean? So it's a terrible argument.
Yeah, and before we get into everything that happened on TV this week, I just want to shout out Wrestlers Lab, Chris Ruiz, just putting together a fantastic show. Oh my glob, that we were very thankful to be the marquee sponsors for. Really great show that I attended. I really liked a lot of the matches on here. I thought the main event, Darian Bankston, seeing him live, he's somebody that a lot of people need to keep their eye on. He is somebody that was just,
for what reason,
really, really dialed in with the technical acumen, and just he's very smooth in the ring, and he's got a great look. And he's he can go, bro. Like he really can. And,
I've heard nothing but good things about him. I'm just wondering what your takeaway was, having seen him live. Like, what was it that set him apart? But I think you sort of nailed that down.
Yeah. So very impressed with him.
Good.
I don't want to give any spoilers because obviously the show
don't.
hasn't gone out to the public on YouTube yet. But the mixed tag match was fantastic. Savage Gnomes against Speedball and Veda Birdlaw, and got to meet Speedball and Veda. Great people, very, very friendly.
Did you confirm the tag team name for me?
I mean, I think it's what you think. Like it's
Okay.
from
Okay.
Sunny.
I just
I
wanted to
did
make
not
sure.
I did not confirm the tag team name necessarily. No.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
I
Heard.
did get you a Made Kira 8x10 that will be coming your way.
Woohoo!
There's no Made Kira did not have t-shirts, but Made Kira was nice enough to write their online store on the back of the 8x10. So
Nice.
go check that out.
I shall.
Delilah Doom was absolutely a riot. I just think that she has such a fun gimmick that doesn't get the attention that it really does deserve. Her being an 80s fitness instructor. And
It's a great gimmick, and yeah, I all in all, man, I know that the response from this has been incredibly positive, from top to bottom, from from the people that have been in attendance, from this event and prior lab events. So again, can't be grateful enough to have been part of it.
Absolutely. Same thing here. I also just wanted to mention the fans bring the weapons match lived up to the hype.
What'd you bring? What'd you end up bringing with you?
Max Zero used the weapon that I brought, and it was a copy of Stephen Colbert's book, I Am America, and So Can You. He smashed it over the head of Big Game Leroy. And kind of want to see if we can get a viral video going where Mr. Colbert can, catch wind of this and possibly air it on his TV show. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. That would be dope. That's great. I am also, well, I don't know if you got the book back or not, but I own that book.
I did get the book back.
And it is a very good book.
Yeah, you have it too?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah, I was going through it, and it's just so funny. Like there's stickers that you can put out for firefighters. There are blank copies of I Am America and So Can You in this house. Please rescue. Do you remember that?
Yep. I'm gonna go back through it now that you had brought it up. But excellent choice for a weapon. And what else? Who else stood out to you?
The Batiri were really fun to see live. I've never saw them wrestle live before. Okay. There's one wrestler that I was not familiar with that I'm familiar with now that I want to see a lot more of, and her name is Cosmic. She was in the six-way scramble match. Really impressive young talent. Very, very deceptively strong.
Okay.
And then, I got to see Edith Surreal wrestle live. I don't believe I've seen her wrestle live before. Always a treat. And, you had the outfielders in there too. They're great.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
And Derek Dillinger, I got to see him wrestle live too.
That's wonderful, man. I'm glad that everybody kind of showed out, and Lab is gonna put out that. Do you have any insight?
Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I touched base with A Game. A Game also had a good showing in the six-way scramble match. A Game also told me that he is going to be part of the Action Wrestling Future Showcase this year, which coincides with the Scenic City Invitational Tournament that takes place on IWTV. So that's a big spotlight for him. I'm really proud of our good friend A Game for getting that opportunity. And I want to give also a shout out to Medina Art Media, Lonnie. Very nice to meet you, and great time hanging with you during the show, man. He is somebody that follows us, that routinely likes our posts. So I just want to give a shout out to Lonnie.
What up, Lonnie? What up? Sorry, I didn't meet you. Maybe the next lab event. We shall see.
Very, very, very cool guy. I enjoyed hanging with him. All right, so let's get into everything else that happened this week. Let's start off hot just with what happened on Tuesday night, because I felt like I was tuning into a pretty routine episode of NXT. Nothing else was on. Just gonna tune into NXT. I guess this this rapper, Sexy Red, was going to be on, so maybe there'd be more eyes on the product. And let me just say this. Sexy Red, not my cup of tea. Didn't really. She's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna go on that long about that. But I will say, at least she is somebody that is into the product and put eyes on the product there.
It's always good to get eyes on the product. It really is. Like I'm not the biggest fan either, and I am a hip hop fan in general. I'm not the biggest fan of hers either, but again, more people watching is good for those talents.
Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the two really big takeaways from this show. And the first being Roxanne Perez was in the ring, basically cutting, your basic heel promo of I've gone through everybody, who else is there to face. Ava comes out, says she has a special surprise for Roxanne, and out comes, to a huge reaction, TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace. And this blew my socks off, man. I was just like, what? I couldn't believe it. At least, she was in the Royal Rumble, so it wasn't as crazy of a, oh my God, holy fucking shit, the world's on fire. It's just kind of like, oh, that makes sense. They worked together before. But still, like, this is just, AEW has their Forbidden Door with New Japan Pro Wrestling. It looks like WWE is doing their Forbidden Door with TNA. And I think it's a wonderful thing for the wrestling business as a whole. And
it begs the question, man. It begs the question. At what point do the realists in the room say, why don't AEW and WWE work together?
Dude, I mean, like,
it begs the question, right?
That's why I kind of get annoyed with Tony with Tony Khan tweeting such an us versus them, narrative for AEW.
I get that, though, man.
I mean?
I get that, though, because they are the underdog. I get it.
They are, but I think that he kind of needs to read the tea leaves a little bit and realize that they're not quite sure. Maybe there are some problem people still within the company that are lingering that we don't know about. But I think that it's safe to say that it's not quite the same company that it was when it was under Vince. Obviously, they're willing to work with a lot more companies now. They are a much more wrestling-focused company than they have ever been. And so I just think that he needs to keep the peace a little bit more, realizing that in order to.
But also, with that being said, I don't think I've seen that a lot lately. Right? I think that's been dialed back a little bit.
Oh, with Tony?
Yeah. As far as being upfront about it. Like, there's the subtle shit, like letting MJF come out in that jacket, right?
You see, I wouldn't be surprised if that was MJF's idea.
Either way, I still, you know what I'm saying, though, right? I don't think it's been quite as in your face as it has been in the past. So I do think he's dialed that us versus them rhetoric back a little bit. So what that's worth.
But just going back to it, Jordynne Grace is obviously going to be working with NXT for a little bit. She's going to be on the show next week in a tune-up match against Stevie Turner. And it's going to be on to Battleground for her and Roxanne. And do you think that there is a chance that they put the belt on Jordynne Grace?
I genuinely do.
I think so, too.
Because why not? Mm-hmm. Right? Roxanne has been pegged to go up to the main roster for a little bit now, right?
So thinking that too. Yep.
So why not? Yeah.
Breathe a lot, breathing new life into NXT. And
I wouldn't even not even the breathing new life. I think it would shake up the wrestling world. I think if you want people to talk, you do things that make people talk. I think that a double TNA NXT champion is going to make people talk a lot more so than even when we had Kenny Omega be the belt collector when he was the TNA champion
Oh, hell yeah.
and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
this is different. This is different.
Very much so. And the difference maker is WWE brand.
Yes.
And how like they've never collaborated with other companies to the degree that they are right now. So I certainly hope that happens. The big surprises started with Jordan Grace, and then it ended with a bang. First thoughts when the lights came off and I saw Trick Williams getting attacked, just looking at the back of his head, I thought it was Johnny Gargano. And then
I can see that. He's a little taller than Johnny.
Yeah, and then oh my God, it was all ego Ethan Page, bro.
Now
Woo! This was nuts. This is something that just completely caught me off guard. I know that we talked before. Yeah, absolutely, man. I didn't know that he was going to be WWE bound. I mean, I knew he was a free agent, but I didn't hear anything. Like, you know, I'm on the wrestling websites and stuff. I didn't know he was like close to a deal with WWE. Obviously, that all came out once he, once he actually appeared on the show. But yeah, this was hella surprising to me, and this is something that I think we always kind of wanted to see, because as much as Ethan Page could have had an amazing run in AEW, for whatever reason, Tony Khan didn't quite see that in him the way a lot of other people do, and I think that it's a better spot for him in WWE. I see him as a younger LA Knight, a younger, hungrier LA Knight.
Is he that much younger?
I think so. I think he's like 34.
I'm not really sure exactly how old he is.
But bro, like this, the fact that Ethan Page is such a good wrestler and he is such a stellar promo, this is going to elevate Trick Williams. And this is going to be very, very, very good for Trick Williams' development, because they were talking about months ago about Trick possibly getting a call up. And I agree with the fact that he has a lot of momentum, but I also am of the same school of thought that although he has all this momentum and he's had some great matches, it would benefit him extraordinarily if he stayed another year and got more reps and got more experience. And I think that if you're going to pair him with Ethan Page, that's going to accelerate his development before he goes to the main roster. And Ethan Page himself, like, you know that he's eventually going to go to the WWE roster, and I think he is going to crush it.
I'm surprised that he didn't. I understand now that you've sort of broken down your thoughts on it. I am more inclined to agree with you that he will elevate the brand. And John pointed out in the group chat the other day that the deal I forgot about is that they're moving to the CW come the fall. So whatever they're going to do to elevate the brand, they need people that are there that can really,
they have charisma that have been on TV before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And awesome additions to NXT. I can't really say enough about it. I can't wait for NXT next week. I want to hear the first promo from Ethan Page. I want to see the in-ring debut of Jordan Grace in the brand. And it's fun. What a fun time. That's all I got to say.
I'm surprised they're giving Jordan Grace a tune-up match, to be completely honest with you. But hey,
I think it's a great idea to introduce the NXT audience to who she is and what they should expect.
Yeah, I think a lot of the NXT audience watches WWE and saw the Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah,
I would say a good chunk of them.
I think a proper match is a little bit different than the Rumble.
Yeah.
I don't think she like pulled off her finisher or anything like that, you know.
No.
But yeah, I'm hella excited, bro. This is really good stuff. And let's just briefly touch on the King and Queen of the Ring that happened this past weekend. We got a lot of ground to cover, so we're just gonna go through this A little bit quicker than
Well, it's a
um,
big show.
first big thing coming out of this show is this was, I mean, like, I know I said it in our predictions that I wouldn't be surprised if Liv Morgan beat Becky Lynch, but still a bit of a surprise that
I thought
she,
so.
yeah, that she got the win here. I think that there's more to Becky Lynch losing. There has been reports that she is going to be taking some time off. I think that's valid. I'm curious about her contract situation. There's been talk about her maybe leaving the WWE. I don't know if that's going to happen just based on just how important of a role that she has played. She's somebody that has main evented WrestleMania and walked out of WrestleMania with the championship. So I kind of have a hard time believing that someone like her would end up leaving because there doesn't seem to be any other motivation for her leaving other than I want to try something new, you know? And I'm not sure if she's at that point in her career just yet. What do you think, Dan? I believe we have lost. Dan. Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, we did lose Dan. Okay. Hold on a second, guys. Looks like Dan has some connection issues. Everything good?
We are back and still live.
Okay. All right, Dan. So, what do you think of this whole Becky Lynch situation?
Well, first off, let me apologize for my internet situation, and I do have new services coming out next week, so that'll be wonderful, and everything is good. So, what do I think about the Becky Lynch situation? I very much think she's going to take some time off. I don't see her necessarily ending up somewhere like a AEW. I just don't. Um, what do you think she would?
I think that if when she reaches a certain point in her career, she might explore that option. I just don't think the time is now.
What kind of point in the career? A couple of years down the line? You think she re-ups with WWE? You think she takes some time off?
Yeah, I think she re-ups with WWE, and probably at the end of that contract, she'll explore it.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
yeah, that's just how I feel. I think she's
where,
just too big of a star.
wherever she wants to go, she's gonna go. I know that.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
absolutely. Couple other things here. Sami Zayn retained over Gable and Bronson Reed with help um, from Otis, because Otis didn't want to hit Sami Zayn. And this is morphed into what we saw on Monday night with Gable and the Alpha Academy. And I just think that this is really good, like, character development for Chad Gable. And him and Sami Zayn, they're going to go one-on-one at some point, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. This character has been developing for a really long time with Gable, and it's sort of almost there, right? Almost coming to fruition, and it probably will at that aforementioned match that you're talking about, like where he's just the full blown, you know, top mid card heel type guy.
Yeah. We have the Queen of the Ring tournament final. Nia Jax is defeated Lyra Valkyria. I honestly think that this was kind of a consolation prize for Nia Jax, because she didn't really get to be on WrestleMania, and they were pushing her pretty heavily prior to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
As
I
much
see that.
as I resent Nia Jax for who she is and everything, like, I kind of can't deny the fact that she has done a pretty good job since she has been back.
Vastly improved.
Yeah,
Vastly.
she really has improved. And when you look at that brand, it'll end up being Bayley versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam. And if you look back at the last time these two faced off with each other, when Bayley was a babyface in NXT, I believe it was in London. They had a really good match with each other, and it ended with Bayley hitting the Bayley to belly from the top rope on a Nia Jax, and that was a huge moment there. So I'm confident that Bayley can put her through a pretty good match. And again, Lyra, she made the final. I'm still kind of lukewarm on that decision, but I think in the long run, that's going to benefit her. At least she can say that she made it all the way to the finals for something that's new. So it is what it is. I think that Nia Jax winning here was just kind of a make good for her not being involved in WrestleMania.
I never quite saw it that way, but that would make sense. She's better now.
Yeah.
Than she was. That's really all you could say about it.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have the King of the Ring tournament final. Gunther defeated Randy Orton, as we expected. Oh, man. All I got to say about this is, these guys worked really hard with each other. I just think that it's a terrible fucking shame how this match ended.
Yeah. Did they bring that up?
Yes, and they're already, like, right from the get-go, when Gunther opened up Raw, they were already calling him like a fake King of the Ring and shit like that. And I just fucking hate that. I hate that so fucking much, man.
It doesn't make sense, right?
I don't know if it's like, did Randy not want to do like a full job or something? Like, I'm curious now about like what went down, because like Randy Orton, if he lost to Gunther, that wouldn't hurt his stock whatsoever.
The whole entire
I truly
tournament
don't
was
understand
booked very weirdly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, of course, I love Gunther being the king of the ring. It's the right call, but they did not have to do this disputed finish. Maybe they're building to a match between him and Randy down the line.
Maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's supposed to get the title match at SummerSlam as a result of.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So it's going to be expected to be Gunther versus either Drew or
Damian Priest. Yeah.
Priest. Yeah. Yep. And let me tell you this, man. I think it's a safe bet to say that Gunther is going to be the new champion after SummerSlam, because shortly after SummerSlam, they're having that big show in Berlin.
Oh yeah, then, and it'll probably be Drew and Gunther at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bet money, because they want to give Drew his chance to win at home, which he can at Clash of the Castle, and then turn around and drop it to Gunther at SummerSlam right before the big show in Berlin. Both of them sell tickets, so.
For sure. All right, and then finally, Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul. I don't know. I wasn't really that into it because I knew it was just kind of like a showcase match, more or less.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch it.
You didn't really miss much in terms of.
I saw you did a vertebreaker.
Oh, Logan Paul did?
Cody did.
Cody did. Oh, yeah, Cody does that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that often, though. It's not something in WWE that is ever done. So
I guess I'm just kind of over the whole Logan Paul thing of always having brass knuckles, using brass knuckles.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still a good wrestler. Sad, but true.
Absolutely. All right. So it was a decent pay-per-view from WWE this weekend. I think what really stole the weekend, though, was what happened at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into that. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really see any of the pre-show. Do you have
I watched it all, actually. I watched it all. Rosa and Deanna was very good. A really good match. Rosa's gear was awesome. Really looked good. And the face paint was dope. The
Deanna's a heel now?
Yeah. So full blown. So that's good too for the product, in my opinion. And the trios match was okay. It was there to entertain people, and it did. You know, the 12 people in the audience, but they started the show hot, so.
For sure. All right. Yeah, the show absolutely started hot. International Championship, Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay. They threw everything against the wall. I think that this has been a really good showcase year for Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly in terms of, you know, just showing everybody that they're not just like members of a faction as you normally see. I know Kyle O'Reilly isn't anymore, but I feel like those two guys in particular just kind of faded into the background the last 5 years or so.
They were never leaders of the faction. They were very much overshadowed, and not necessarily in a bad way, but by Adam Cole, and that'll happen to a lot of people.
Yeah,
truthfully.
Absolutely. But you know, the expected result happened here. Will Ospreay won the international championship, and it's on to really big things for him post Dynamite, which we will get into later.
Yes, sir.
All right. So after this, Adam Cole came out and made his return to the company. He looks like he is very close to returning. Per reports, he's not quite ready to return yet, but he's very close. But God damn it, bro. Adam Cole coming out led to one of the biggest moments in the entire show. MJF's music playing, and you want to say that this was a roaring reaction. This was
Understatement.
Massive, absolutely massive reaction for this man. The prodigal son has returned. It felt like, MJF comes out. He comes out with the Triple H getup, the denim jacket, the leather jacket. He is very, 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 very tan. It
Very
appears
jacked.
he has fixed his hairline as well. So MJF is ready to go. And I love the moment in the ring where he fakes that the brochachos are back, gives Adam Cole a hug, and then just kicks him in the balls, as he fucking should. Because fuck Adam Cole.
Absolutely.
And MJF made a statement here. He said that very clearly he is AEW for life. He has a tattoo saying that he's never going to leave AEW. I think that is wonderful because AEW certainly needs MJF more than MJF needs AEW. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, MJF is gonna thrive wherever he goes. Do I think that he's an AEW lifer because he got a tattoo? Absolutely not.
Me neither. Yeah.
But it's nice. It's a nice story, right? He bet on himself and he bet on this company, and he's gonna continue to make them a lot of money and be part of a lot of really big things in the future. And there is no more bidding war of 2024, right? Like there never really was. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like I think Max being who he is, the heel of all heels, really, he still is loyal.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
To the core.
And I loved the statement that he made when he took that devil mask and just threw it, because I hope we never see it again, because that mask has just brought, especially the end of last year, like it I feel like it's just given everybody a really sickening feeling. Like nobody liked that angle and where it was going. And
I mean, I had hopes for it, but yes, nobody liked where it ended up or the way it got there. So
yeah, so let's just never see that mask again, honestly.
Yes.
All right, so very excited for MJF being back. That's amazing for AEW. Next, we had the World Trios Championship match. Bang Bang Gang against the Death Triangle.
Let's talk about the real big return.
Yes. Juice came back.
The juice is loose.
Okay, Juventud Guerrera. Juice is back. He helped the Bang Bang Gang win their match. It was just great to see Ray Phoenix back in there doing what he does best.
Steroids? Because he looked jacked as fuck.
Yeah, and you don't know what you got till it's gone. And he was very, very much missed. And I feel like there's a lot more direction now for Penta and Pac now that their buddy is back and they can be a proper trios again.
And it hopefully it breathes life back into this trios division, and it's not just the Bang Bang Gang versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass for another year and a half.
Yes.
Right? Like hopefully
absolutely.
It just brings some life.
Because
there's plenty of talent. There's plenty of talent on that roster to create trios, even if you don't have them.
Too, when it comes to the Acclaimed, we saw a new direction that they're going in on Dynamite. So I think that those groups, as I had hoped to, are kind of splitting from each other as far as like feuding and whatnot, because they need to be separated. That we've gotten too much Guns and Acclaimed.
Facts.
Yeah, but fun match overall. Next, we had our Women's World Championship match. Toni Storm defending against Serena Deeb. And god damn it, man, this was a hell of a fucking wrestling match between these two. These two absolutely worked their asses off and put on a great technical masterpiece. After seeing this match, just in terms of the remaining women's matches on the card, I said Willow and Mercedes certainly have a tough act to follow. But they followed it. They certainly did follow it. But I will say that Toni and Serena certainly set the bar very high.
I will say that I enjoyed Willow and Mercedes more.
I did too, but
surprisingly
I
enough.
thought that these were two of the better women's matches of the year that happened to be on the same card.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see, and now maybe we can get 2 women's matches on a Dynamite, and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Right. So, but still, this was a fantastic 2 matches, and it was hard for them to follow that match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So go out of your way to watch that. I'm going to give that a hot dog.
Yeah, for
I'll give
sure.
it a hot dog for sure. Next, we had our grudge match: OC against Trent Beretta. Thought it was a great match between these two. You know, a lot of very violent moments here, and I thought that the ending was a surprise to me. It's not really. I kind of wanted Trent to win just to further the story, but
I mean, the story.
when you look at it in hindsight, with what happened on Dynamite, the result makes sense.
And that's the problem with us as wrestling fans. Sometimes we aren't patient.
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of thought the same thing. Like, further the story, give Trent another win, let OC wallow. But we were like not thinking, oh, what's going to happen on Dynamite? And now we have an even bigger story.
Yes,
So.
For sure. Next, we have the 3-way FTW championship match. Jericho defending against Hook and Shibata.
My brother in Christ, I skipped this match. I'm not going to lie to you.
All right. Well, I think that really the big moment here is that Brian Keith came out. He was a masked man that helped out Jericho. Say what you want about his positioning right now in a storyline. I see this as a big opportunity for Brian Keith. Whether you have a positive opinion about Jericho or not, which we do not really have a positive opinion, but I'm just happy to see a guy like that really get an opportunity to prove himself, and I hope that this leads to bigger matches and more exposure for Brian Keith.
It will, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's wonderful, but god damn, like, even like the meta Jericho that is talking about the Jericho vortex and the learning tree and all that, like making fun of himself and whatnot, but man, like, it's still Jericho.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much Brian Keith could be doing, especially with a bounty hunter gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's just not for me. I love that he's in a position where he's going to get TV time. I hope he gets some high profile matches out of it, but I don't want to watch Jericho. I just don't.
I understand. I will say though, like, I like Big Bill, I like Brian Keith, and if this is a way somehow these guys get elevated from all of this, I'm for it. I like Samoa Joe being involved in this storyline too.
I mean, my favorite part of this storyline is Joe and Hook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more intrigued by that pairing than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you take away Jericho from this storyline, it's like we're all the way in on it. You know, a lot of really good things going on here.
That makes me angry at myself.
Yeah.
That I'm that stubborn.
All right. So next we had the eliminator match for the IWGP Championship. Jon Moxley against Takeshita. This was a miss for me. This was absolutely a miss for me.
Let's
the reason why I say this,
okay,
is because very obviously Moxley's hurt. Moxley had a bum arm going into this match. There is every reason for Takeshita to win, considering the fact that Takeshita is an eliminator match. It's not for the title. Mm-hmm. Again, Moxley is beat up. He's vulnerable. It just makes Takeshita look so fucking weak to lose to Moxley not at 100%. And that just really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if they're telling a story of Takeshita possibly having problems with the Callis family. I don't think that's the right thing to do right now. I really don't, especially with the Callis family getting stronger. I don't want to have this situation where like there's issues between Callis and Takeshita. It just seems very messy, and I did not agree with the booking here, and it just leading into Forbidden Door would have brought a lot more intrigue with the IWGP title being defended if Takeshita was able to get the win here.
Let it play. I want to see. And he cut a promo on it on Dynamite. Mox did, about being hurt and defending all over the world and this, that, and the other. So it sort of ties it together a little bit.
I just don't like how
I think we discussed this last week on the show, that we just thought it was fucking stupid that it was an eliminator match, and then he loses, which makes it doubly stupid, you know. And I mean, you didn't necessarily say this, but I think you agreed with me. I said that I thought it was a political thing via New Japan, and I still believe that. So,
do you think Takeshita losing is a political thing too?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
they don't want their champ to lose. I just think it was straight. I think that's what it was, man. I just think that's what it was.
But it's okay if your champ loses if he's truly hurt against like a top tier wrestler.
But that's the thing. That's Mox is a gritty guy. He's supposed to be the one that fights through it.
Yeah. I just at the end of the day, I just think it makes Takeshita look weak, and I'm just.
I mean, you're completely on point in that. Yeah. My devil's advocacy is that, you know, I don't think it was necessarily Takeshita's fault. I think this was a lot of a back and forth between Tony Khan and New Japan about how they're going to book their champion, even though that champion is a member of the AEW roster, which strikes me as odd. But I don't know the behind the scenes shit. It's just not for me.
And a lot of times when there is that back and forth about how things should be booked, you get a fucking pile of shit. Like at Starrcade 97 with Sting and Hulk Hogan. Yep. You know? So unfortunate for a match that I was really looking forward to. Not taking away from the in-ring action, but you know, I just see Takeshita as somebody that could be a future AEW World Champion at some point.
At the very least, a TNT type guy.
Yeah. So like this did not do him any favors, and I just rubbed me the wrong way. So definitely a low point for this really good show overall. Next we have the TNT Championship barbed wire cage match. Copeland defending against Malachi Black. I enjoyed the hell out of this until the moment of, you know, what we all know happens. Yeah. But I thought that these guys worked their asses off. Malachi was bloody pretty early.
I think they both were bloody pretty early, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. I guess it's just kind of like when Copeland got hurt, I really would have loved them to pull an audible.
Absolutely.
But I think that they were just so set on Gangrel making that appearance to help Copeland win that they didn't want to let that be wasted.
So Gangrel could help him and still lose. It's still 3-on-2.
Yes, I agree.
If that was the reasoning, that's a dumb fuck reason.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
You can still audible out of the result.
But at the same time too, like, I don't know if we knew the extent of Copeland's injury when that happens.
I mean, you don't think Cope knew he broke his fucking leg?
Maybe he did. He probably
These are finely tuned athletes that know most of them.
It's frustrating it was frustrating watching that spot, seeing him at the top of the cage. He didn't look like in his eyes, he didn't look fully committed to doing it.
Like, bro, you ain't Sting.
Yeah. And it just like he put his legs down to kind of break the fall a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't work.
That was just instinctual on his part.
Yeah.
To do that and then just brother, like, you know, lay out lay out your body when you're doing that. You're gonna land on the fucking table.
Yeah, completely.
It's frustrating, and it's frustrating for Malachi Black because he is such a can't miss talent. I mean,
Absolutely.
really. And I certainly hope that he's involved in the qualifying matches for the TNT title that's going to be decided in a ladder match.
He should be, right? You would think.
Yeah. All right. So next we have Willow against Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. Honest to God, my most highly anticipated match of the night that I was looking forward to the most.
I wouldn't say I was looking forward to it the most, but using the word highly anticipated is correct.
It
Because
was. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because that was what I was just anticipating whether or not Mercedes was gonna look good in the ring, right?
This-
that was
that was my concern too, but also like from a character point of view, this is someone that I very, very, very much love in Willow Nightingale
correct.
versus a character that I absolutely fucking despise in Mercedes Moné. So to me, it's just like my heart was racing during this match because I care so much. I invest so much emotionally in Willow Nightingale. Yeah. So, this was a great match overall. It was a clean finish. Mercedes won. Willow lost graciously. It was fine in that respect. I think that they're going to go more in a direction of Mercedes being a babyface. I'm curious to know how long that's going to last.
It can't, right? It can't.
It can't.
It can't.
Because she's just, I'm sorry, but she is just, her character is so unlikable. And it's for a reason,
I mean, there's somebody out there that likes it. It's just not me.
Yes.
Or you.
Exactly. But we know how important Mercedes is to the brands.
Correct.
And when she is healthy, she is a hell of a wrestler. And you got to give her flowers. Whether you like her personality or not, she is a great wrestler. She is a commodity. So they need
one of the best in the world.
Yep.
Truthfully, when healthy, one of the best in the world.
No doubt about it. This was a hot dog and a handshake match for me.
Me too.
I thought that it was damn good. I think that Willow has nothing to be ashamed of. She is just a surefire. If I was starting, we're going to do our wrestling draft again. And if I'm starting a wrestling promotion, the first woman off my board is going to be Willow because I think that she is a baby face that you could pair with anybody and people are going to love her, I
can't wait to steal Willow from you in the draft now. Everybody that is in the draft listens to this show.
Yeah.
And now we all know what you want and somebody is going to snake it from you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But I just think that she is just, I think she's the best baby face in wrestling.
Yeah.
The only people that come close are like Sami Zayn. Can't think of other ones off the top of my head. Just like Willow is just, she's the best, dude. She really is.
She was very much. It was Bailey when Bailey was, her original babyface hugger character. Like that could not have possibly been more over at the time.
Yeah,
like it couldn't have been, and that's what very much the same vibes now as that.
Mm-hmm. Big story after the match, though.
Biggest part of this for me.
You had predicted that we were going to get a turn that would have cost Willow the match.
Correct.
But the turn still happened. It happened after the fact, but still just as effective.
Well, it kind of technically cost them the match because they did that fake out part where they were distracting the ref, right? So obviously that was something that was
That's true. That's true.
pre-planned.
Good
So
point.
it kind of technically did, but it wasn't shown to the audience until after the match. But yes, I see what you're saying.
Right. Statlander
Kind of.
officially turns heel on Willow, ripped off her friendship bracelet, chucked it into Willow's face. Stokely, the biggest hater in wrestling, he's calling himself now, which is pretty funny. I think that I'm curious to see where this happens with Stat, and I coming from her promo on Wednesday, I'm excited. I think that this is a new chapter for her, and she is going to get a lot more attention now.
I mean, speaking of massive baby faces, Willow, to turn on Willow or to go up against Willow is the same as kind of going up against Orange Cassidy in the men's division, right? Like, if you fuck with them, you're automatically a massive heel. So you got to take this ball and run with it. Both Trent and Stat have to really make this work because they have that behind them. They are going up against the two most beloved characters in AEW.
No doubt. Yep. Great stuff overall. And then finally we had the World Championship match, Swerve against Christian. This was not what am I saying finally? This wasn't the main event. But it was a hell of a match. A lot of interference as you would expect. It ends up being Swerve vanquishing all of them. That moment where Christian went for the spear and Swerve countered with the house call was just wild. And
arguably one of my favorite spots of all time.
Yeah, honestly. And a lot of people are calling it like his Michael Jordan. Like
whatever you want to call it, it's one of my favorite things I've ever seen in real time in wrestling.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's going to be using that move as a finisher now, and I think that's the right thing.
It's up there with that super kick that Michaels hit Shelton Benjamin with.
Yes.
To me, like those two are like so connected to me, as far as just iconic, just moves or spots or just little things. It's just going to be, you're going to see that on highlight reels for AEW for a long fucking time.
I agree, man. Swerve retained as we expected. Just a fun match overall. I thought this was a great first feud for Swerve.
Absolutely.
I think Swerve is being shortchanged a bit because he hasn't been in main event segments. Yeah, I do a little bit, but Dan really convinced me that this might have to do at the end of the day with the Elite storyline, them trying to just surmise all the power in AEW and just be the ones that are front and center all the time. So we'll see how that all plays out in the end. I would just to sidebar a bit now that Christopher Daniels is TK's proxy, maybe he's going to have more pull to put Swerve in like main events now.
We shall see. I don't know that I really love a GM character like that, but it's better to have Christopher Daniels than see TK on TV every week like that in that position.
I agree. All right, so we had our Anarchy in the Arena match. The Elite versus Danielson, FTR, and Darby Allin. Just a fun match overall.
It was exactly what Anarchy in the Arena is. It's crazy. You're going to get the wildest of wild spots. It's one of those ones that I still haven't gone back and watched for a second time yet, and I still have to.
Yeah. It's what you expect. What the real moment of the match here was Jack Perry getting the flamethrower, and the Bucks took him out with extinguishers. Obviously, Jack Perry came very prepared, soaking wet, so that maybe that took a little bit away from it. But at the same time, if you're gonna do it in the safest way possible.
I mean, he wasn't wet, bro. That was literally fire retardant fucking.
Well, he was wet. He was still wet. Like, I mean, you could see it on him.
He was technically wet, but they used the wetness as a guise to be able to cover him in fire retardant, lube, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So he was well protected. They handled it really, 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 really well, and everybody came out looking good and safe, to be completely honest with you. And I was proud to see it, to be completely honest.
Agreed. This match ended, though, with Danielson just getting everybody's finishers. Ultimately, Jack Perry is the one that pinned Danielson. Big heat there. Not really surprised that the Elite won this match.
No, me neither. They didn't want to play Final Countdown again.
Yeah. I liked that moment where they were just trying to get everybody's songs on, like when Danielson got on the mic.
I saw somebody on Twitter was like, "These motherfuckers are just arguing over the aux cord," and that made me chuckle. But yeah, I thought that this was a fire match. I just want to see it again, because you miss so much in these matches, right? So many little things that tell stories within stories. So,
agreed. All right, so Dan, how about we go through Dynamite? Let's go a little quick.
Sure.
I'm getting a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Over an hour here. First thing here, Mercedes came out with her TBS celebration. Is what it is. Sky Blue is the one that attacked Mercedes a few weeks back. Therefore, she's going to get a title shot tonight. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Whatever.
It was what it was.
Yeah. And Swerve faced Kill Switch. I wasn't really paying that much attention to it. I mean, it's hard for me to really care once I know that this feud is over.
Yeah. Again, it was a good match. Kill Switch is very underrated in the ring, but it probably went on a little bit too long to be.
Would have much rather. And I know they had the match at the end of the night, but I don't know. I guess it's okay to do a battle royal for Forbidden Door, but I don't know. I just think.
Oh, the scramble match that they had, but okay.
Yeah. All right. Next, TV time with Chris Jericho. Obviously, TV time, the name of the segment, being very meta. This guy gets way too much TV time. Ha 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 ha.
We already talked about this. Next.
Bro, I'll say this, though. Loved Brian Keith's promo in terms of delivery, in terms of getting the fans riled up.
Yeah. He did a nice job.
I was proud of him out there.
Did a very nice job.
Yeah. Yep.
He will still get overshadowed by Jericho.
I really just hope that his new nickname isn't the Bad Apple.
Oh, God.
Like Big Bill said. That got me nervous, bro. That got me nervous. I thought Jericho was about to be like, I am christening you the Bad Apple, Brian Keith.
Probably will, man. Wait till it's a chant next week. It's going to happen.
All right. Mox and Rocky Romero. For what it was, man, I thought this was a really good match. I think that this was a good reminder of how good Rocky is.
I was going to say, Rocky is one of the most underrated wrestlers of our generation.
Yeah, I agree, man. I've been watching him all the way back to the early days of Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. And he's always shown out. And I think that there is an argument for why is Moxley a heavyweight in New Japan in a 2-segment match against Rocky Romero, who is a junior heavyweight. I'm sure there's a little bit of a case to be made for that, but I also feel like it's taking Moxley longer to put away opponents given the injury that he has. Mm-hmm. So in respect to that, I did believe that it took him a little bit longer.
Yes.
To take out Rocky.
It makes sense, especially because he had another grueling match this week. Like,
yes.
It's fine.
All right, next segment in the ring, Don Callis. He's going to present a contract to the newest member of the Don Callis family, and obviously he is courting Orange Cassidy.
I thought this was going to go different.
I'm kind of happy that it played out the way that I thought it would.
See, I thought it would play out. I thought the end was the way it was going to end up. I just thought it was going to get there differently. That's all.
Yeah. So OC basically makes it clear right from the beginning. He rips the contract in half. He tells Don Callis no. And then surprisingly, Chris Stat and Stokely come down to the ring. Stokely says he's the biggest hater. He doesn't like the way OC talks or walks. Just like Willow, only reason he's out here is because of Chris. And then Statlander said, on behalf of my best friend, I'm here to announce that he accepts your invitation to the Don Callis family. And Trent Beretta appears essentially dressed the same exact way as Don Callis and just beats the shit out of Orange Cassidy.
Ever loving. Yep.
Crazy.
So this is going on.
And Trent Beretta is the newest member of the Don Callis family. I think that is fantastic.
Wonderful fit. I just thought that Don was going to present the contract to Orange and it was going to say Trent on it, and Trent was just going to come out of nowhere and beat the shit out of him. Like it was all like a fake courting in the first place. But I like this so much better because it still intertwines Chris with Trent, and if they are still intertwined, we're gonna get some comedic gold out of Don Callis and Stokely.
I agree. I definitely agree. This is going to be good shit. I think they are going to be a little bit intertwined too, because you think back to those segments where when Trent Beretta initially turned on the best friends. Yeah. And Statlander was in the back being like, Trent, what the hell is wrong with you? And then he whispered something to Statlander.
Yeah.
So,
and we had talked about that way back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are going to be a little bit connected with each other. Next, we had Mercedes' first TBS championship defense against Sky Blue, who attacked her earlier and attacked her weeks ago. And I thought it was a fine TV match. And Mercedes once again showing. I'm liking how much more comfortable she is with that finisher, the Moneymaker.
I love it.
When she first started using it, it was a little bit shaky. She didn't quite have it. I think she has it down now.
It depends on who she's doing it to also. Yeah. So.
Right. And at the end of the match, Stephanie Vaquer, the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, who's also from CMLL, came out, held up the NGPW Strong Women's Championship. Mercedes held up her championship. It is assumed that they are going to be facing each other at Forbidden Door, and I'm sure it's going to be a great match.
I don't know much about Vaquer. I've seen clips and whatnot.
I think I saw her like in a tag team match once, but I haven't seen too much of her either, to be honest.
From what I've seen, I've been impressed by, so hopefully that'll be the Forbidden Door match.
Mm-hmm. We have a backstage segment with Stokely and Chris Statlander. I thought this was really good stuff. As you would expect, Stokely is always great on the microphone. But I thought that Stat really shined here and felt very comfortable and has a full understanding of her character. I like the dynamic between her and Stokely. Yes, Stokely is her manager, but she's the one in charge. So, great stuff. And I'm excited. We know one part of Statlander's character, and that's as a babyface. Yeah, we don't really know her as a heel, so this is going to be really interesting stuff.
No, we've never really seen her in that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, up next, the EVPs are in the ring to address the TNT Championship. This got real heat from me because they had me going. Like, I thought that they were really going to do this because it would coincide. It would coincide with their heel character to just give a championship to someone. So they were very close to just giving the TNT championship to Jack Perry because of how great he was on Sunday night.
I was kind of hoping they would. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I really did. I thought it would have been great, a great piece of character work from them. Honest to God.
I get it. It still just rubs me the wrong way when someone is just handed a championship. It just reminds, and not to, I'm not comparing it to WCW, but in this instance, I'm comparing it to a specific thing that happened in WCW when they gave the U.S. championship to David Flair without him ever winning it. That really upset people a lot. I would not have a problem with it ending up on Jack Perry as a result of him winning the championship, but I'm never really about somebody just being handed a championship.
I'm okay with your stance. I'm okay with your stance. I thought it would have been really good for heel heat.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this led to Christopher Daniels coming out. He's pretty much going to be the proxy for Tony Khan now. Which is better than Tony himself, let's be honest.
Exactly.
And I think that Christopher Daniels is a good promo, and he's somebody that can come out and go toe to toe with the Young Bucks and put them in their place.
Yep.
And they're gonna have qualifying matches for a ladder match is gonna happen at Forbidden Door for the TNT Championship. The Elite are not happy about it, so they're walking towards Daniels to finish him off. And out come the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass to even up the odds. And I think that this is a really great, fresh, new spot for the Acclaimed. And this can really get the Acclaimed's momentum back to be working with the Young Bucks. And I really hope that at the pay-per-view, we end up getting the Acclaimed against the Young Bucks for the titles.
It should be that way. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. They had their run as a trio, and I don't want to break them up from Daddy Ass, but they were the hottest tag team in the company for a long time, man.
Yeah. Just a great way to get their momentum back. And I'm looking forward to the next few weeks of TV with the Acclaimed and the Young Bucks working with each other.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. Roosh has challenged MJF to MJF's return next week. I'm very much looking forward to that, especially for the fact that we haven't really gotten a proper return from Roosh yet. So
are they actually going to wrestle?
I think so. I can't imagine a feud happening between MJF and Roosh.
Yeah, but that's a pretty big match for just a random return match, but okay.
Yeah. All right, then finally, we have the Forbidden Door Casino Gauntlet match. I thought this was awesome. I thought it was a really good showcase of all the wrestlers that were involved in this match. Everyone went out there and got their shit in, rightfully so. It was well paced. Jay White, I thought, really stepped up in this match too. Mm-hmm. Some of the guys that really I thought I never saw so much fire in Shota Umino.
He looks great. I thought it was really fun to see Leo Rush again.
Absolutely. Hechicero was someone that
back.
Hechicero is someone that I think we kind of forgot about, and he just came back and was just doing amazing shit.
Yeah. We got another Juice Robinson appearance. You know what I mean? And then at the end of it all, this is a head scratcher for me, man. Ospreay winning. So we have at Forbidden Door, we have Ospreay versus Swerve. I don't know about this, man.
I don't know about it either. I don't think that Ospreay wins. I don't think that this happens yet. I think it would just feel too hot shotty to give Ospreay the title this soon.
But how do you? I mean, I don't think you lose steam if Swerve beats Ospreay. I think it's fair. But Ospreay is just I don't know, man. I don't know how you work it.
I think it's there for just like this is an incredible match that they're going to have against each other. I think that this match is going to result in Ospreay leaving the Don Callis family.
Okay.
I think that element is going to play here.
Sure.
And I think it's going to be a year plus long climb for Ospreay to get another shot at the AEW championship, as I think it should be, because I think that the fans should be on a journey with Ospreay to get to that championship versus him just winning it at Wembley as people are supposedly expecting. So I'm a little bit like I don't know quite how to feel about it. I'm okay with it. Just
I don't think I like it.
Yeah, you don't like it?
I don't think so. I mean, I know they're going to put on a great match. I'm not worried about that, and I'm sure that with guys as talented as Swerve and Ospreay, they're going to get me invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I have no fear of that, but it just it seems hot shotty. There's so many people in that match that made more sense to just throw out there against Swerve.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of wanted Jay White to win.
Jay White.
I thought Jay White was gonna win.
Yeah, I actually did too. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, man. Yeah. Not enough New Japan representation, in my opinion. I don't know. It seems muddy, and I don't dig it.
Yeah, that's another school of thought too. I maybe it should have been a New Japan guy that actually won this match.
See, right? I will say, if we were worried about Swerve and his title reign, a win over Ospreay solidifies it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that's huge for Swerve.
Yeah.
And I don't think it necessarily hurts Ospreay that much because Swerve is so hot.
I don't think it hurts Ospreay at all. I think Ospreay is going to be the biggest babyface in the company next to
and you know what? When you think about guys that are climbing to the championship, sometimes when they get their first title shot, they fail, but that's just part of the journey. You know,
absolutely.
So
the hero's journey.
I think it's gonna. You may not like it, but I think it's going to be okay at the end of the day.
I think it will be okay. I just don't like it right now.
I feel you. All right, Dan. I think that we have said enough.
So much. My kid's almost going to bed. Jeez.
What a freaking great week of professional wrestling. God damn it.
Absolutely.
Just going NXT, bro. Like that's probably the one thing that just really knocked my socks off because it was the most unexpected shit.
So is NXT back for you as much must watch every week, or are you going to give it some time before you'll say that?
It's certainly must watch next week.
Okay.
Certainly. Let's see how it all plays out. But I mean, I don't really see a reason why I wouldn't be interested in NXT right now.
Okay. Guess we got more to cover every week then.
Maybe not full blown, but yeah, at least touch on NXT like we did this week, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. But as always, guys, follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter at Smarknado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and go check out our Linktree, One Maneuver store that we have there, as well as our YouTube page. Please subscribe. And
great show, Eric. I got nothing else, so stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.